Hey guys, welcome to the Kasper Konnect, where we use technology to bridge the gap between the office and field as we deep dive into culture. And today we're going to talk about stewardship.
Yeah, so we want to discuss the idea of stewardship, but to do that, we want to kick off with a special statement of just Alex Hess. Thank you so much for sending your praises of how well Andrew Saveda has been doing. We appreciate those comments because what that's saying is that you're paying attention to what the guys on your teams are doing. And that's part of the best stewardship that we can have is when a guy's recognizing those achievements and then passing them along. So thank you for that, and keep up the great work, Andrew. But today, as we dive in on stewardship, I want to kind of pass along this thought process of like, stewards kind of have this mindset of ownership, right? Like you could be an owner and you could be a renter. And like, man, 20 years ago, I worked at Enterprise Rent a Car. Whoa. Not my favorite time, but man, it was interesting. And the funny thing you kind of think about it as my time working with all those clients, I never saw one client do an oil change on a rental car. You know, it was always our responsibility, you know.
You guys don't do that?
No. We do sometimes. But, you know, I was thinking about that of like, you know what would be the mindset of a person that would be a steward, and we would want that mindset of ownership, you know, and maybe you guys have like rented in a house versus owned a house, and there's a different shift that you do, you know. It's like, well, maybe think about what's something that you did in your own home that you did when you weren't or when you were renting. Now you are an owner, you do something completely different.
Yeah, I have a super silly example, but it's relevant because it literally happened this last weekend. You know how like when you're vacuuming the like baseboards, the vacuum hits the baseboard, it like continually like chips the paint or makes all these like smudges. Yeah. So like Blake spent the weekend painting all the like repainting the baseboards in the kitchen. And it's like, if I was renting a house, I would never repaint the baseboards. Like they're not mine. And you know, it sounds bad to say that, but I don't think I would have as much as I should have, because I think we should steward everything that we're given well. But truthfully, I don't think I would, you know, do that. But it was my home. It's my home. Yeah. I own it, and I want it to look, you know, great. I want to take great care of it. And so Blake spent the weekend painting the baseboards in our home that I probably would not have done if I was renting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think of the idea of, and I don't disagree with the idea that you own your home, but stewardship is actually recognizing that we actually don't own anything. Like it's not ours at all. But I totally understand and get what you're saying, and completely applicable in every situation I have. We own our home. We actually just closed on Mason's first home, and there are some things we would do there that we would not. But the ownership that we do have is our attitude towards that blessing. Like, thank God somebody started a company that has vehicles that we can rent when we fly somewhere else. Without that would be very difficult. You know, so it's people solving other people's problems, and that's what business is. And so I don't know that I would ever change the oil, but I have been in situations. We have our 7th kid on the way, and so when we rent an Airbnb, I take pictures of the walls before, because if there are dings everywhere, every owner of an Airbnb is just assuming this large family of 7 kids or 6 kids, they're the ones that dinged up the walls. So I actually bring with me those magic erasers. And so I remember one in Savannah, Georgia, there were dings everywhere. And I'm like, I actually enjoy that cleaning a little bit. Like, I'm not painting baseboards, but it doesn't take a lot. So we actually try to leave every location a little bit better. We don't, you know, say anything. We just do it. And that's one of the things that our service team does well in stewarding our relationships with our customers. We give examples of like, hey, you're waiting for an inspector, take the trash out, like the simplest little things. And that's what creates raving fans, because very few people steward resources the way that we're going to and trying to. Not that we've arrived at a stewardship level that we want. It's a value that we strive for. But I love that we do that.
And
Oh, sorry.
No,
I
go
know.
ahead.
I love also, you were just kind of getting into the fact that stewardship is not just of our physical resources. Like, so you steward your time, your relationships, your, obviously your money,
Yep.
but you steward your mind. I mean, you can literally steward anything well or not well.
Yeah.
And to your point, everything that we have, we believe comes from God. And so, we're wanting to steward everything that he's given us, well. And so it is well beyond your physical, things that you have.
Yeah, and I think that's where I want to take this next part of. So it's like if we talk about stewardship and kind of having that owner mindset gets us to that place of stewardship, then what does it look like in the office and the field? When we think about like what are we asking people to really bring to the table? When they're showing up for work, when they're coming in. What does it look like? And so what would you say, Carlos? Well, you got something for us yet?
Just, excellence.
Yeah.
People, that's not really talked about. Just giving it your very best, not just showing up.
Yeah.
Just being a body out in the job site, but actually putting in the work in to climb up. And exceed expectations.
So interestingly enough, Carlos, you run most of our recruiting for Kasper Electric, but you also run Grow and Scale Talent, which actually does recruiting and staffing for a lot of this industry and other industries. And I would say what you said right there separates the guys that we like to hire permanently and the ones that stay staffers. And there's nothing against that. It is a mindset. It's like, they like the flexibility and, maybe take off or, maybe not have as much responsibility, but the ones that do show up and it's not just a paycheck, they start owning their responsibilities. Those are the guys that were like, Earl and Jim and CJ are like, we need to hire this guy. And that is definitely the difference. They steward the 8 hours well.
Yeah.
They take ownership of the responsibility that we give them. And, the Lord says, trust you in little things and then more will be given unto you. And I love that idea. And I think in order to steward things well, you first have to identify the blessings, because if they're all blessings from God, like you have to recognize that in order to steward well. I think it's just a helpful habit. It's like, one, hey, I have a job, like, great. Like for me, it's like, man, I have 100 families like that God has blessed me with, and I have to steward those relationships well with this team and the team in the office and the leadership in the field. It's like recognizing your blessing before you can really understand how to steward it well.
Yeah. And what about for the person? Because it's like, people might come to the position of on the team or in the field, and they're kind of like, they feel like they're low man on the totem pole. And so it's like, when we say, to have this ownership mentality, be a steward. And they're like, of what? Right. Like, what am I supposed to do? And obviously you hit on the idea of kind of those, the bigger things that we can do in our character. But like, what about tangible things we can ask, like, hey, show up, do this, come out strong. Like, what would you guys say?
I mean, I think they can steward their time well, steward all the resources that they're given well, meaning like you're surrounded with, regardless of what position you're in at the company, you are surrounded with people who know more than you, who are more experienced than you, and you can steward that, relational distance to people well by asking them to teach you, asking them to train you, asking questions, using your time to grow and develop yourself so that you can also pour into other people. And I know we said this recently, it's like at some point, very soon, I'm assuming, because we're hiring people every day, there's going to be somebody on your job site or next to you in the office who is the new low man on the totem pole. And then you can use what you've stewarded well in your time and energy and effort to learn from somebody else to then, steward that relationship well by giving back to them.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I think real quick, the idea is like, what is the blessing? A job, like show up on time, manage that time resource well. The tools, like I think the most entry level position in the field is typically digging a ditch somewhere. And it's like, man, that's how do you steward that? But like, do it well with everything you have. Use the shovel is a tool; it's a resource. So like some of these guys get in there and they end up breaking the shovels off trying to do something silly. It's like, no, like we need this for tomorrow. Like, so make sure that we show up today in a way that everything can show up again tomorrow and do the exact same thing. So there's a lot of little things that can go well. And to the point, the one thing that a lot of our team, our leadership loves is like, you had to explain something one time. So when somebody gives you an answer, file that well, like repeat it if you need to. And so the team's like, if they have to tell you 3 and 4 times the same thing over and over again, you know, they recognize that as either they didn't care the first 3 times, so why would I continue? So someone that retains the information of the answers from the questions asked, it's like, man, cherish that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think it's very important as well as to have curiosity and that humbleness of saying, like, I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Can you tell me again so I could really understand and apply what you're saying?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are afraid of saying, like, hey, I don't know what you said. Can you tell me again?
Yeah.
So you just act like they know what they're doing and they don't, which is wasting more time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's
So
good.
good.
yeah.
Well, before we close out, we've got some birthdays and some anniversary dates we want to celebrate. And so, Carlos, can you let us know whose birthdays?
Yeah, awesome. Celebrating you guys. We have Ronnie, June 6th. Ronnie Carretero with Service Department.
Birthday.
We have Big T Money, as Justin likes to call him, Thomas Leali, June 12th. That's coming up. Ramon Garcia in commercial with June 16th.
All right.
We have Todd, commercial as well, June 18th. And we have Jared, who goes by Nate Hawkins, June 20th.
Happy
Happy birthday, guys.
Hey, guys.
Awesome. Yeah. We're also celebrating anniversaries. So
Let's go.
Ryan Kepchar hit his 1-year mark with us. We'll hit his 1 year June the 2nd. Jonathan Halloran, 2 years on the 3rd.
Awesome.
We have Earl hitting 6 years. Amazing. Devin will hit 2 years. And Justin.
What?
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I want to
Don't
know how
say
many
it.
years.
28 years. Almost as long as I've been alive.
I look good.
Wow, that's tough to swallow.
We have Butch hitting 7 years.
Wow.
And we're celebrating as well all the new onboards and new employees to the team. We have David Casado in our service department, Rob Roth as well with service, and Joseph Hamlin.
Yep.
Starting Monday.
Exciting.
Awesome. Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, it's great to be with you. We look forward to seeing you in person. Until then, check this out and share it. Thank you so much, and God bless.